Hi, this is your old Brooklyn Sage, back at you again. Been a while. This video is one that I thought about for a while, in which I outline, but from memory, not from reading some teleprompter, from memory, 25 of the accomplishments of Donald Trump. I do this because I realize there's a lot of people out there that doesn't like the personality or the style of Donald Trump. And that's okay. That's a personal preference. However, what you can't deny is the substance of what he has done as president. And this is what counts. Had he not beaten Hillary Clinton, this country would be on the road to socialism. I'm going to talk about the 25 items that I thought about the last few days that were accomplished by Donald Trump. And I hope when you listen to them, you start thinking about how important they were and how important he is to be reelected. Number one, prior to the pandemic, he had the lowest unemployment rate in the last 16 years. He had the lowest unemployment rate among blacks, Hispanics, and Asian Americans in history, forever, and among women, the lowest in 18 years. 3, he reduced the food stamp population down by 3 million people. That's a lot of people. 3 million people that no longer have to depend on the government for food. That's huge. He also talked to Europe. He let Europe know, we protect you through our nuclear umbrella. But we've even gone beyond that. We've been the biggest funder of NATO, and that's crazy. They're the countries that need protection. We don't mind helping, but we don't want to be the big sucker paying 75% of NATO's bills. And he approached the Europeans and told them they had to change. And he has recovered tens of billions of dollars now into NATO, which made NATO stronger and meant that we didn't have to spend as much on their protection. Number 5, he reduced income taxes for all Americans, not just rich Americans, as the Democrats like to say, all Americans, rich or poor. As a matter of fact, the gap between rich and poor under this president has gotten closer than it's ever been before. 6, if you have a mother, a brother, a son, daughter, and they have a terminal illness, and there's a drug out there that might help them, they're going to die anyway, so why can't they try that drug? Well, it was against the law in this country until President Trump, signed the right to try law. A very important law. And now, anybody that's in that terminal condition can try a drug that might in fact save their lives. 7. I'll get back to 7. 8. He has crushed ISIS. And how did he do it? When he became president, he decided that what was hurting us in getting ISIS was this rules of engagement. And what the rules of engagement, in essence, said is that an American soldier had to wait to be shot at before he could shoot it back at ISIS. This was crazy. When he changed the rules of engagement and we aggressively went after ISIS, they were destroyed in months. Number 9. He rebuilt our military. When Obama and Biden left, the military was in disarray. They didn't have enough money. They were using old equipment. They couldn't fix new equipment. The first thing he did as president is he increased their budget dramatically. And now we have the best and the most trained military in the world. That was Trump. Now, the Democrats are fond of calling him a racist. That's what they do every time we have somebody running for office. They're racist. A Republican, they're racist. They're racist. Bush was a racist. McCain was a racist. Romney was a racist. That's their mantra, racist. Well, this racist president is the first one to vote for prison reform. The Democrats have been trying to get prison reform through for years. Couldn't do it. Donald Trump did it. The racist did it. Now, when he was going to deal with immigration, that was a problem. Immigration was a problem. He got the Mexicans to put 10,000 troops at the border on their side to prevent people from coming in. It not only prevented illegal aliens from coming in, it prevented many drugs from coming in, and it stopped the sex trade between Mexico and America. That was important. He's building a wall that will further stop illegal immigration into this country, which, by the way, the Democrats seem to want, since they're willing to provide them with health insurance. Crazy. Number 12, he has made us independent for energy. In other words, we don't have to depend any longer on Saudi Arabia or anybody in the Middle East. We don't have to cow down to them because of our energy needs. Between us allowing fracking, approving pipelines such as ANWR, he has managed to make this country independent for energy. This is huge. Number 13 is he brought back 400,000 manufacturing jobs. Now, these are jobs that Obama said you need a magic wand to bring back. Well, I guess President Trump had a magic wand because he brought back 400,000. 15. He has taken bad trade deals, such as NAFTA, and he has renegotiated them into the MCA between Canada, ourselves, and Mexico. Fantastic and fair. He's gone after China and put tariffs on their products because they have been unfair and they've been stealing our technology. And nobody has done anything about it in the past. He has. 16. He has taken a stupid agreement with Iran and he's ripped it up. He was in agreement where we gave him $160 billion so they could pay soldiers to kill our soldiers and to support terrorism around the world so that they would not develop a nuclear weapon. And they went along developing a nuclear weapon. It was such a stupid, stupid agreement negotiated by Obama and Secretary of State Kerry. Donald Trump took it and ripped it up. It was the best move. Number 17. You know, you can go back and check. There isn't a president of the United States that was in office for 3 or 4 years that did not create new wars around the world. Yeah, check it out. It's true. The only one who has not started new conflicts is Donald Trump. So think about your teenage children that don't have to worry about getting into a uniform. Yeah, he's the only one to do that. He not only did that, he's taken Afghanistan and Iraq, and he's lowering the temperature there and in Syria, and lowering the amount of troops needed, and eventually going to bring them home. That's an incredible achievement of his foreign policy that the Democrats like to say. The rest of the world hates us. 18. Let's talk about the Middle East. You know, every administration, Republican, Democrat, they said, oh, we're going to try to get peace in the Middle East between Palestine and Israel. Well, that's a great goal, but they've accomplished nothing. When Trump came into office and said, I'm going to get this done, they ridiculed him. They said, that's a joke. What are you going to do? And they talked about his son-in-law, Jared. Well, he's going to be your negotiator. What's he going to do? Well, what they did is they have a different strategy. And the strategy is that all of these Middle East countries that surround Palestine have been supporting Palestine, either with money, support, troops, etc. So what the Trump administration thought about is that if we can get a treaty between Israel and all these other countries in the Middle East and get them to work together, then Palestine would have no place to go. They'd have to try to make an honest deal with Israel. So what has happened? You've seen the signing of the agreement between the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, and Bahrain. And now there's another agreement that's being signed. And you can bet all these other countries are going to come into these agreements with Israel, recognizing them and doing business with them. You're going to see it. You're going to see Saudi Arabia, Jordan, you're going to see them all come in. That will leave Palestine with no money to foster terrorism. The only thing they can do is meet with Israel and try to solve this whole problem, because you're not going to get support from the rest of the people that are in this agreement. This also creates a united front against Iran, which is the biggest foster of terrorism in the world. So it's a strategy. And it's a strategy created by the president, and one that seems to be working. So ridicule all you want. The man gets things done. Now, number 19 is his relationship with China. Think about it. All the past administrations have let China get away with a trade imbalance, stealing our technology. Trump came in office and said, no, that's going to stop. Our biggest problem in the world is not Russia, it's China. They are building a military that is unbelievable. So somebody has got to try to stop them. And Trump has decided economically we'll start there, and then we will do other things to make sure that China always stays this far behind us. Number 20. I love the fact that he's constantly being called a racist. And I told you earlier that he signed prison reform. He also is the first president to fully fund black colleges. So now, all these people that say his supporters are all skinheads and white nationalists, they must be very upset at him then, because he has done so much for the blacks, both in unemployment and in education. Number 21, he is the most right-to-life president we've ever had. He's the only one that actually went to the mall in Washington and met with the right-to-lifers. The rest of them gave lip service, but he went, he visited with them, he talked with them, and he supported them. Now, lastly, I'd like to talk about what the Democrats like to talk about. Democrats blame this entire pandemic on Donald Trump. Well, that's fine. And when you listen to Biden and how he would have done it, he's again stealing everybody else's idea, that the plagiarism that has plagued him in the past, because all of his ideas are ones that Trump was already doing. It's absolutely outrageous for him accusing Trump of virtually causing the pandemic. Donald Trump got the private sector involved in solving so much of the pandemic problem. You remember New York? We need 40,000 ventilators. What happened? Trump got 40,000. They didn't need 40,000. He got 40,000. He got all the equipment needed at hospitals all around the country by getting the private sector to work together with the government to do it. And what did he do? All he gets is criticism. Oh, they say, we have more people with the virus than any place else in the world. Well, we're one of the biggest countries in the world. We also have people traveling all the time back and forth, more than most countries. We have, when you look at the death rate, our death rate, percentage-wise, is better than any place else in the world. But still, Donald Trump is the one that caused the pandemic. Here's the bottom line. We are on the verge of a presidential election that's going to change everything. As you know, when you look at the crime in the streets, when you look at the socialists that are heading the Democratic Party, you know, there was a time that Venezuela was one of the richest countries in the world. And then along came the socialists and said, we'll give you this free, that free, everything free. You get everything free. No, don't worry about anything. You're going to get it free. And so what do they have free now? Garbage, because that's what they eat out of, garbage. So we as citizens have got to realize this election is really important. And if Donald Trump doesn't win this election, I think we'll be going down the drain awfully quick. So think about it. Think about the accomplishments I've talked about. And there's 100 more things. I was sitting upstate New York recently with a young nephew of mine who had just finished college. And I said to him, listen, let's play a game. You name some accomplishments from Obama, and I'll name some from Trump. He said, well, you go first. So the same 25 that I just gave you now, or 23, whatever it was, I did to him. His mouth didn't close the whole time. I said, okay, now it's your turn. He could not come up with one. Not one. I tell you something. So let's forget about style. A lot of people like his style. A lot of people don't like his style. But don't let that decide who you're going to vote for president. It's the old Brooklyn sage. Do the right thing.